Hello students, welcome to AIMS India online classes. This is a chemistry session. Here we are discussing about the chapter changes around us. In this session we are going to see a practice sheet related to the chapter, which we say as practice sheet 1, which includes conceptual understanding questions and single character set of questions. Okay, let us start the practice sheet. Let us go through first conceptual understanding questions. See the first one. What kind of change does a glowing electrical bulb undergo? So we know when we switch the light on, it glows. An electrical bulb will glow when you switch on. When you switch off it again, it light will go off. So there only a physical change occurs, and which can be repeated and which can be reversed also. Such kind of changes in which there is no change in chemical composition are called as physical changes. Now, glowing of an electrical bulb also will come under one of the physical changes because it can be reversed. There is no change in the chemical composition, only glowing is occurring. When you switch it off again, the glow will go off. Okay, it is a physical change. Next one. Identify the change undergone by burning of wood. So what happens when we burn wood? We know when wood is burnt, it produces heat in the form of flames. Along with that, it remains finally with certain ash. It releases carbon dioxide and water vapor into the atmosphere, and it remains with the solid ash there. So by that we can say new substances are formed by burning of wood. Now we know the changes in which new substances are formed are called as chemical changes. So here burning of wood is one of the chemical changes because new substances are formed in this reaction. Okay, next one. Which of the following is not a chemical change? Observe here the given changes. Identify the change which is not a chemical change. See the first one, digestion of food. Food in the digestion process it converts into different forms like energy and those all. So it is a chemical change. What about this precipitation of rain and snow? In the precipitation of rain and snow, the water vapor present in the clouds converts into liquid form. So that liquid droplets of water will come down just like the rain. So there only state of substance is changing from gaseous state to liquid state, but the molecular composition of water remains the same in both the cases. In the clouds form or in the raindrops form, the molecular composition of water will be same, that is H2O. It won't be changed. Only there is change in physical state. Initially it might be in the gaseous state. After condensation and precipitation it converts into liquid state. Again by the evaporation in the water cycle process this all will occur as we have studied, isn't it? So there the state change is going on which comes under physical change but not a chemical change. Only physical change is going on there. Whereas if you see rusting of iron, in the rusting of iron, iron combines with oxygen in the presence of moisture and converts into iron oxide. Means a new substance is formed. Now we can say rusting of iron is a chemical change as there is formation of a new substance. Next one, burning of paper. When you burn a paper, it remains ash. We cannot get back the paper from the ash again, isn't it? So it is one of the chemical changes because new substance ash is formed from paper by burning. So in these all cases, new substances are formed. So they are chemical changes. So except precipitation of rain and snow. In that precipitation of rain and snow, only physical change like state is being changed. Okay. So it is not a chemical change. Next, why is the rusting of iron grouped under a chemical change? Just now we told rusting of iron will come under chemical change. What is the reason for this? What is actually rusting means? In rusting process, iron combines with oxygen in the presence of moisture. So they form iron oxide. This is the process of rusting. That iron oxide formed here, it is called rust. Now this rust is having entirely different formula and composition than the pure iron taken initially. So new substance is formed from the pure iron. That is why it is called chemical change, because the changes in which new substances are formed are called chemical changes. That is the main reason why this rusting of iron is grouped under chemical changes, because a new substance iron oxide is formed. Next, what kind of change is undergone when wheat flour is made into a chapati? So in our homes, we'll be often observing this making of chapati from wheat flour, isn't it? What they're doing there, they're mixing that, they're rolling that wheat flour into chapatis by using some instruments there. By rolling that into chapati, there is no change in its chemical composition that we have to observe. Initially and after the making rolling it in chapati, the chemical composition does not change. Only the shape of that flow is being changed. That's why it comes under physical change. Okay, it is a physical change, not chemical change. Next, which of the following is a chemical change? Observe certain changes are mentioned here. Identify the change which is chemical. Say here, food gives out a foul smell. Why foods give foul smell? When they are rotten or decomposed. Then food items they give bad smell. Means they undergone certain chemical changes. By undergoing certain chemical changes, food items they become spoiled and they give foul smell. So that comes under chemical change. Next one, pollution of air caused due to explosion of fireworks. So explosion of fireworks. What happens when a fireworks are exploded? They burst and they explode immediately and they produce large amount of gases and heat into the atmosphere. There, new substances are being formed by the explosion of fireworks. As new substances are formed, that comes under chemical change. Next, change of color in a cut apple if it left outside. So with this also we know we observe in our homes also regularly when we cut apple and if we leave the pieces of a cut apple open for few minutes. After few minutes if we observe a brown color layer will be appeared on that. This is because the apple pulp molecules they react with the atmospheric air and they convert into new substances. That is why brown color layer is appeared on those. That is because of the formation of new substances. As new substances are formed, this comes under chemical change. Now what will be correct answer? These three are chemical changes. So it will be right answer, all of these. Next, what kind of change does sodium chloride undergo when it is added to water? So what happens when sodium chloride is what kind of change does sodium chloride undergo when it is added to water? Sodium chloride means we know common salt. When it is added to water, it dissolves into water, but still it remains with its properties. It won't lose its properties. And even that salt can be separated back from the water by using certain physical methods. So here this is a mixture is formed, no new substances are formed and they are retained with their original properties. Such kind of change can come under physical change. It is a temporary change and physical change because here substances can be separated back by using some physical methods. That is why dissolution of sodium chloride into water is a physical change. Next one. Which of the following is a physical change? Observe here some changes are given. Identify the physical change among these. Grinding of wheat, photosynthesis, cooling of milk, and burning of coal. If you observe these all ones, burning of coal remains ash and it releases carbon dioxide and some other gases into atmosphere. So it is a chemical change. What about this scalding of milk? Milk on adding small quantity of curd, it converts into curd. But from this curd, we cannot get back the milk, so it is a chemical change. What about photosynthesis? We know in the photosynthesis process, plants they prepare their food from the carbon dioxide and water in their leaves in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. So there new substances are formed. So it also a chemical change. What about this grinding of wheat? So when wheat are grinded, they become flour. Even then also their chemical composition does not change. In the wheat grains, whatever the chemical substances are there, the same chemical substance will be remain after grinding them also. So no chemical change is observed. Only physical state is being changed. So it is a physical change. Okay. Next, what kind of change is undergone by the expansion of railway tracks during summer? We know these railway tracks are made up of iron and steel. These are metallic objects. In the summer, because of sunlight, they become warm and they expand. Because we know metals they expand on heating. Because of hot sunlight, these metallic railway tracks they become hot and they expand a little. So again, when it is cold, it comes back to its original size. Now we can say this change or expansion of these railway tracks is reversible change or it is just a physical change because even after expansion also its chemical composition does not change. So it is a reversible change as well as physical change. Here it is here. It is correct. Okay, next. Iron plus sulfur gives iron sulphide. What kind of this reaction is? It is an example for is a double decomposition reaction, simple displacement, decomposition, or direct combination. See here it is shown equationally also. Iron plus sulfur, they are combining to give iron sulphide. So what we can say is direct combination. Two elements they are combining to give a new compound. So we can say this as direct combination reaction. Next, consider chemical reaction aluminum hydroxide plus nitric acid gives aluminum nitrate plus water. Now what they're asking, number of nitric acid molecules required for a balanced equation will be. If you observe here, the equation given is an unbalanced equation. Now if we are able to balance this equation, we can find out what coefficient we get here in the place here in front of HNO3 molecules. See here, there is one nitrogen at the left hand side, but if you see on the right hand side, in this molecule there are three nitrogens. So to make it balanced here, what should be kept? 3. Now let us try to balance and observe this equation. This is a balanced chemical equation for that equation. So we get in the place of here 3 in front of HNO3 molecule we get coefficient 3 after making it balanced. Now what will be correct answer? This. Okay. Now let us see single correct answer type questions from this. So the first one among those, which of the following is not a physical change? See, tearing a paper. What happens if you tear a paper? Even after tearing off a paper, there will be no change in its chemical composition. Only a physical property, that is size, changes. Instead of being bigger, it becomes smaller pieces. But no chemical composition change. So it is a physical change. Next, heating of an iron rod to bend it. So when you heat an iron rod, it becomes easy to bend it. So even after heating also, its chemical composition does not change. So it also comes under physical change because after cooling again, it becomes harder enough. Next, freezing of water into ice. What happens when water is freezed? It becomes ice. Means from liquid state to it converted into solid state. only there is a change in its state, physical state, liquid to solid. But before and after the change also, the chemical composition of water remains same. So it also come under physical change. Next, if you see growth of a sapling into a tree means a seed. So that converts the small tree into big tree. The change is known as chemical change because so many chemical reactions occurs in the conversion of the sapling into a tree. So it is one of the chemical changes. It is not a physical change. Okay. Next, which of the following changes does sugar undergo when it is dissolved in water to form sugar solution? So how sugar solution is made? By the dissolution of sugar into water. So what kind of change is this? Even sugar solution is made, the properties of sugar and water remains same. They won't change their properties. So just physical mixing is occurring when sugar is dissolved into water. So we can say this change as physical change. Dissolution of sugar into water is a physical change. Next, Pooja took a candle in a vessel and heated the vessel. Even though the candle did not burn, it changes its shape and state. What kind of change is this? This you also might have observed when you take small pieces of candle in a vessel and if you heat it. Without burning, the candle wax starts melting. It converts into liquid state. It might be initially in certain shape, but comes into liquid state after heating and melting. So here again if we cool it, it comes back into solid state, solid wax. So here only there is change in its shape and state. There is no change in its chemical composition. As there is no change in chemical composition, this change comes under physical change. Okay, next. Which of the following is a chemical change? Observe here certain changes are given. Identify the chemical change from this. Cooking of food. Yes, cooking of food is a chemical change because when raw food is cooked, it changes its composition and it is cooked. But from the cooked food, we cannot get back the raw food items. So it is irreversible and a chemical change. What about evaporation of water? Evaporation of water is a physical change because there is a change only in the physical property like state. Liquid water changes into gaseous water vapor form, but chemical composition remains same. So it is a physical change. What about the next? Moving of grass. So when it wind blows, grass moves in all the certain directions. So it is just a physical change. It is not a chemical change. What about next melting of wax? When wax is heated, it melts into liquid form, but no chemical composition change. Again, on cooling, it solidifies back. So it is also a physical change, not a chemical change. So among these all, only chemical change is this cooking of food. Okay. Next, what kind of change is undergone by burning of wax? So melting of wax will come under physical change because only physical state changes, no chemical composition change. But when wax is burnt, it burns with the light and produces heat, carbon dioxide and water vapor as products. But from these products, carbon dioxide and water vapor, we cannot get back the wax. So new substances are formed and original substance cannot be obtained from the products formed. Hence, this change is a chemical change. Burning of wax is a chemical change and melting of wax is a physical change. Remember these two clearly. Okay. Next, which of the following is an irreversible change? What is meant by irreversible change? The change which cannot be reversed, or the change in which original substances cannot be obtained back by reversing the conditions, is called irreversible change. See here the first one, change of water into steam. Can we get back the water from the steam? Yes, we can get back. So it is a reversible change. Now, if you see melting of wax, if we melt wax, we get molten or liquid form of wax. Again, by cooling, we will get back the solid wax. So it is also a reversible change. Next, transpiration. This is a liquid conversion into gas actually. This occurs from the plants actually. But that liquid, the gaseous water vapor can be collected back and cooled to get the liquid water. So it is also one of the reversible changes. But if you observe corrosion, in corrosion, nothing but rusting, iron particles they react with the atmospheric oxygen in the presence of moisture and converts into respective oxide like iron oxide. From this iron oxide, we cannot get back the iron. So, this rusting of iron or corrosion of metals is one of the irreversible changes. Reverse of this reaction does not occur. So, it is irreversible change. Okay, next one. Karuna wrapped some green gram pulses in a wet cotton cloth, and when she observed them after a couple of days, she found small white growths on them. What could be this change? So, a small bud starts on the seeds when you soak them and keep them on a cloth for a few days, 1 or 2 days. You can observe sprouts coming from those. So, this is because of chemical changes occurring inside the seeds. So, the sprouts are absorbed because of the chemical changes. So, those will grow into a small plant. So, it is a chemical change. Next, which of the following is a physical change? Observe the changes given here. Rusting of iron nails. Just now we discussed about it. Rusting of iron is a chemical change because it cannot be reversed and there will be a formation of a new substance in it. Next, burning of diesel. Not only diesel, when fuels like diesel, petrol, these are burnt, they produce carbon dioxide and water vapor as a products into atmosphere along with the heat energy. But from these products, we cannot get back this diesel and petroleum. So it is a irreversible chemical change. What about the next one? Breaking of a glass bottle. Breaking of a glass bottle. So if you break a glass bottle, it becomes pieces of glass. But there is no change in the chemical composition. Whatever the chemical composition is in the form of glass bottle, after breaking into small pieces also, those glass pieces also will be having same chemical composition. There is only change in the shape. Initially it might be in the bottle shape, but after breaking it became small pieces. But chemically no change occurs. Hence, it comes under a physical change. It is a physical change. What about the last one? Heating of iron with sulfur. We know when iron is heated with sulfur, it reacts with sulfur and forms iron sulphide. So it is a chemical change. Only physical change is breaking of glass into small pieces. Okay, next. Zinc plus hydrochloric acid gives zinc chloride plus hydrogen. This is an example of what is happening here is observe zinc reacting with hydrochloric acid, forming zinc chloride and hydrogen. If you observe carefully, this zinc replacing hydrogen from hydrogen chloride. So hydrogen is separated out. Means zinc replacing hydrogen. We can say simply zinc displacing hydrogen from hydrogen chloride and forming a new substance. This kind of reactions in which an element displaces another element from a compound to form new compound are called displacement reactions or simple displacement reactions. So here this comes under simple displacement reaction. Okay, next one. Consider the reaction. Sulfur plus oxygen gives sulfur dioxide. The state of sulfur dioxide in this reaction would be generally, oxides of sulfur are gases. There are two oxides, sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. So here, the sulfur dioxide formed is also a gas. Sulfur is a solid, sulfur oxygen is a gas. When sulfur is burnt in oxygen, it forms a gaseous product, sulfur dioxide. It is a gaseous product. Okay, next. Which of the following is not a decomposition reaction? What is meant by decomposition reaction? The chemical reaction in which a substance splits into two or more simpler substances is called decomposition reaction. If you observe first equation given, in that if you observe calcium carbonate decomposing to form calcium oxide carbon dioxide. One substance decomposed into two simpler substances. So it is a decomposition reaction, isn't it? If you observe here this, it is called carbonic acid H2CO3, a single substance. It is splitting into two simpler substances. So it is also an example for a decomposition reaction. If you observe this, it is called potassium chloride, a single substance. After the reaction, it decomposes to form two simpler substances. So it is also decomposition reaction. But you observe the second one, here two simpler substances combine together to form a single substance. This kind of reactions in which two or more simple substances combine together to form a new single product are called simple combination reactions. So it is not a decomposition reaction. It is simple combination but not decomposition. So it is the correct answer. Okay. Next. The equation copper plus nitric acid gives copper nitrate plus nitrogen dioxide plus water. The values of x and y are. So to balance this equation, they have used certain variable coefficients x and y. If we make it truly balanced, what do we get in the place of x and y? That's the question here. Can you try to balance this equation? See, if we balance that equation, we get it like this. Because here there is only one nitrogen. If you observe this side, there are two nitrogens here. Here we have to get this number also again. For that, if you observe the other elements, copper, here too one copper is there, here also one copper. Copper is already balanced. If you observe now, oxygens. Okay, so in this way, by observing one by one elements, if you keep any numbers in the place of x and y simple coefficients, so we have to observe after keeping those numbers whether they are being balanced or not. By that, if you finally will get 4, 2 to here. So in the place of x we are getting 4, in the place of y we are getting 2. Now where it is the correct answer? So x and y are 4 and 2 respectively. This is the correct answer. This we call as, these numbers which we are keeping in front of the molecular formula are called coefficients. By keeping this equation becomes balanced. Okay. This is a practice sheet 1 related to the chapter changes around us. Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our YouTube channel AIMS Today and visit our website aimstoday.in for latest updates on recorded videos.